All right, very good. We're going to move on to Q&A now. So just going to review the protocols. First, I'll ask Allison and Cassie to be on each side of the room. Again, please listen and hear with mutual respect. Raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you. We'll alternate to both sides of the room. Direct your question to a specific agency, if you would, because that really helps them decide who needs to come up to the microphone. Speak clearly so everyone can hear your question. Keep your questions brief so everybody gets a chance to ask theirs and participate if they would like. A reminder, we're recording the meeting tonight. We'll post it on the ppacg.org website. We also have comment forms out at the sign-in table. So I'll encourage you, if you have not signed in, please do. The reason we need your sign-in is because, again, that goes to the gentlemen who are conducting the CWPP, Community Wildfire Protection Plan. It helps them get credit for this meeting for, again, trying to get that grant money that we'd like to get. So sign in, fill out the comment forms. With that, we'll start with our first question right over here.
This is concerning the risk map. So I guess that would be the Colorado Springs fire mitigation people.
It's concerning the risk
map that we are part of now in Woodmen Valley.
Yes, I think it's Colorado Springs Fire Department. There we are.
What's your question?
Okay. When we first asked to be part of that risk map, we were told, and I could be wrong now, that it was really the only defensible area around the house that they were actually going to rate. So if that's still true, Woodmen Valley has a lot of acres around that defensible area, and if you've got a green around your house, it doesn't necessarily mean the rest of your area is green.
The map breaks it down by address. So yeah, your address might be, maybe your neighbor's isn't. So it is looking at a property. And there's different factors that we look at to do that risk map. The risk assessment, some of it is the vegetation, some of it is the house itself, but then also some things you can't control, like the topography around the home. And that does vary, throughout the entire community. So I think that to answer your question, yeah, your risk might be different than your neighbors. You might have green or red, and then your neighbors might be yellow or another color.
So my point was to encourage people that we need to go beyond just the area. You might have a green around your house, but when you look at our rest of our acreage, people need to continue on mitigating to reduce our risk in Woodmen Valley. That's my point.
Okay, yeah, and I would agree with you. While creating that defensible space is really important, especially if you have terrain and topography around your house, you might want to build that defensible space larger than 30 feet and create as much protection as you can for your home. So, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Question for the Sheriff's Commander. Sir, I live in Woodmen Valley. I have one road that exits. That's Westwood Road. Mm-hmm. And I cannot conceive of a plan B. So I put the question to you. If Westwood Road is blocked, I need to evacuate. What's my plan?
I'm sending a brush truck, a Type 6, to your house to defend it and get you out of there. I am sending personnel specifically to rescue you.
Well, we have about 100 people that are in the same situation that I am in.
Oh, so you just said you didn't mention the 100 people. So I'm sending, when it comes to life protection, outweighs structure protection, which outweighs property protection. So if I have reports that you're in an area, we're all sending every resource we have to get to you to make that a viable evacuation route.
We're trusting you with our lives on that one.
You have been for years, sir. So.
Anyone on this side have a question?
Hold on, I got an answer just to help this gentleman out real quick. My firefighters in this room, would you risk your safety and life to help him get out on the road he's in? I see some heads nodding, thumbs going up. Sir, have you ever heard of the safety priorities? they're what we in law enforcement live and die by, literally, is we rank who's more important than us. And what's based on is who has the most control of their situation is the lowest priority, and who has the least control of their situation has the highest priority. In that position, you would have the least control over the situation you're in. And so the next tier down, which is going to be, in this case, firefighters, and in my case, cops, we will risk our lives and our livelihood to rescue you and your family from the condition you're in. That's what we do. And just please rest assured, every single person I work with will put you and your family in front of ourselves in order to accomplish that mission. It's what we do. So.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
You know, how do you get your neighbors to mitigate? You know, you have people who are renters. You know, you have some areas that, you know, are not owned by somebody, you know, and we see it when we go down Woodmen Road. You got a Baptist Student Union, you have a horse ranch. How do you get these people to mitigate? I mean, I don't know if they do or not, but how do you or recommend? I mean, I usually pick up these things and say, here, we went to this meeting and you might want to see this, but it doesn't mean it's going to work.
Paulette, I've never known you to not have influence. I think you just knock on their door.
I have a similar answer. Our tagline is sharing the responsibility. So we really rely on all of you to hear our message, talk to your neighbors, share our booklets, encourage them to call us, tell them about some of the resources that we offer, service, the cost share stipend, and just do your best to get to know your neighbors, share that responsibility, and help educate them on why it's important.
Yes.
Relates to, is it possible for us to meet with somebody from the fire department to come out to our homes to see what is on our property, in our environment, so we can decide what is the best way to prevent or postpone or to prolong the time that we need to escape from our home and to have mitigation? How can we make it so we can talk to somebody and have them visit where we live to make that happen?
Yeah, so part of one of the services we offer are on-site consultations. So I highly encourage you to get in touch with us, call, email. We will come to your property and we'll walk around with you, help you identify some of those risks, have that conversation of how you can lower your risk to wildfire, and what mitigation tactics you should be implementing.
And if I may, actually, that community wildfire protection plan that these foresters are writing for you will specifically address that as well. Steps that you can take to mitigate your property. Yeah, so that'll all be included in that plan.
I know up where I live, we have a FireWise program where people will come out and look at everything and give guidance, and they've been awesome.
And one thing that happens too, because you know your neighbors, I mean, we're older, we don't have little kids. We used to have all the parties and the kids do the firecrackers and they have little campgrounds outside. I think that, you know, in a way to tell them, you know what, guys, it's, you know, 4th of July, do me a favor, don't do the, you know, the firecrackers. And I did tell some neighbors across the street in the city, we live in the county, I said, they came across our county side and were doing firecrackers. And I said, you know, this could start a fire here. But they didn't listen. So. Actually, no fire was started. And also, too, when we were evacuated and what happens, because we have all our stuff in a room in case, God forbid, it happens again. When we left our house in Woodmen Valley, it was pitch black. You could not see anything. And we went down the road crying. You could not see anything.
So I'm guessing between Jess at the fire department and Chris at the sheriff's department, there's literature and materials. If you have neighborhood parties, neighborhood get-togethers, neighborhood watch functions, call them and they will provide you a lot of materials that you could then give to your neighbors at those functions. So, yes, sir.
My question is for Commander Gonzalez.
Sir?
If you happen to be out of the area when the evacuation happens and you've got children or elderly that are still back in the neighborhood, you're obviously not going to let us go in. So what happens in that situation?
Kind of back what I was talking about with this gentleman is we hope this information comes to us, and we have had on regular occasion. Waldo Kane's a perfect example. We had family members calling in to say that they had either children or young teens at the house, family members, non-ambulatory family members. At this point, we form what's called a rescue task force, which is different from a strike team. As the chief was talking about, strike team is a bunch of fire engines. A task force is going to be multidiscipline units, and it's probably going to be a fire engine to help protect whatever, a cop, an ambulance, depending on what the problem is. But we're going to be sending a team to that address to effect a rescue, to get whatever people that are in that residence out. And we form this task force. We do it in a lot of different circumstances, wildland fires, snow events, things like that. We will send these task force out to specifically rescue the families and any persons that we know about that are trapped in certain areas and can't get themselves out. We did it at Waldo, we did it at Black Forest. I think at CSFD, are you here? Yeah, didn't y'all lose a fire engine doing a rescue task force during Waldo? I'm pretty sure y'all lost a fire engine affecting a rescue. I know I lost 2 cop cars at the 117 fire affecting a rescue, and then we had to back them up with a different set of a different rescue task force. So, absolutely, yeah, that is an emergency. So,
Chris, before you leave, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Monument is having a controlled burn on June 10th.
Thank you. So it's actually not Monument. It's it's U.S. Forest Service, but it's near Monument. The U.S. Forest Service is having a prescribed burn at the Monument Fire Center starting on the 10th, unless we get a lot of rain this weekend and it'll be too wet to burn and we won't be doing it. But there's going to be an amazing amount of smoke coming out of that area. Kind of Mount Herman Road. So if you see a lot of smoke, please, it's a controlled, prescribed burn. My guys will be up there. I'm sure plenty of the other firefighters are going to be up there participating in that one. It's a pretty huge event. I think they're doing well over multi-thousand acre burn in that area. So.
Great, thank you. We have one over here. Yes, sir.
Or don't sit down yet, for the sheriff's department again. If you issue an evacuation order, is there a way for us to let you know that we have evacuated so your guys don't have to waste time knocking on our door over and over?
Absolutely. If you call a non-emergent number, we should also be setting up some additional phone lines if it's a big event. But I'm going to knock on your door no matter what. No matter what, I'm sending personnel to every single address that we know of to ensure that that person is notified. With pre-evacuation orders, we do not do that. But with mandatory evacs, I am going to send a cop and possibly a firefighter, depending on the circumstances, to every single location. And I'll give you an example. During the Waldo Canyon fire, I was part of a rescue strike team, and we were up off of Schuberth, to that trail/road back behind the ridge line, behind the Air Force Academy, looking for a homeless person that we knew lived back there. No way to contact him, didn't know where he was, but we were back there because we knew there was a homeless person back there. We were going back there to try to find him. So we will send a cop to every single location in the entire affected area to ensure that that person gets at least a face-to-face notification.
Awesome. Any other questions? We've got one here, and then we've got one over here.
We live at the east end of Northfield Road, and I hope this is to Dave and Keith, that you will do a serious evaluation to give us some tips on what can be done to better mitigate our area, because it's a very narrow road, and it has dips, and it has vegetation right to the edge. And I think if I were in the fire department, I would have serious concern about that road. Anyway, we do appreciate and thank you for doing this survey, because it will help us go forward. Thank you.
There was one over here. Real quick, this lady was kind enough to thank everybody. I would like us to give a round of applause before any of them leave for all our first responders that are here. Thank you. Yes. Yes, sir.
I think this question goes to the sheriff. As I talk to residents around Woodmen Valley, I find that many people have discontinued any landline telephone service and only have cell phones. And I also learned that they often turn their cell phones off at night or position their cell phone in a different room. So I'd like your comments and encouragement to have people keep their cell phones on and available at night.
Yeah, my response is please don't do that. So, Everbridge is a lifesaver when it comes to cellular phone service because it is, we can hit every landline in the area, but you're right, not every house. In fact, most houses these days do not have landlines. I have no landlines in my house. It's all cellular. Sadly, in my position, my phone's always on and it always rings. But I encourage you that if you're concerned about that, you should always leave your phone on. You should always leave your ringer on. And if you get woken up by that spam caller, I'm sorry. But yeah, absolutely. Leave your phone on, leave your ringer on. I know those Amber Alerts that come through at 2 o'clock in the morning that annoy everybody and wake everybody up are exactly that. But it also, this stuff can save your life. So. Ben, do you have any comments on that? No, he's like, no, just leave your stuff on. Huh? Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody? Keep sneaking off. Might as well just stand up here. No, just kidding.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to give a couple of wrap-ups here. I want to thank a lot of people. So Air Force Academy, the Woodmen Valley Fire Protection District, the Colorado Springs Fire Department, and your whole team, the Sheriff's Department. Commander, thank you. All of the emergency responders that are here. The school has been amazing. I know we teased about it being old, but it's actually been great, and the people were so very helpful, so we appreciate it. Dean, thank you for switching the slides for me. And lastly, PPACG, who sponsored this tonight. So give all of them a round of applause again for their participation. Nice. And for you all have been great. Also, our elected officials that are here. Reminder, sign in. Please sign in. Please fill out a comment form if you want to be included on the Woodmen Valley Fire Protection District email list. Go see the fire engines, the big red trucks, all the cool stuff out there because they were kind enough to bring them. And the booths in the other room are going to remain open for the next 30 minutes. There's snacks in there, so take those with you. And thank you all very much and have a nice night.
And sign up for peak alerts.
And peak alerts.